We've been talking about this show on Netflix for quite some time, the past couple of weeks, Joe and I. House of Dynamite paints a picture of what could happen if the U.S. faces a rogue nuclear missile. Joining us, the movie's director. This is big time. Kathryn Bigelow is with us, and writer Noah Oppenheim. Good morning to both of you. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Congratulations on the film. I've now watched it twice, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. We've been talking about the show, the film, I should say, a whole bunch the past couple of weeks, because it'll scare you. I mean, it'll scare the bejesus out of you.
And Oliver stuff. And Hurt Locker, Jeremy Renner's
all
back with another...
Zero Dark 30, all of it.
Right.
So, I want to just go back in time before we even get into it itself. How did you decide you were doing this? Where did the original idea come from? And what were you trying to say about where we are in our society and in the world at this point?
Well, actually, it started as a kind of what-if question. What would happen if there was a nuclear ICBM headed toward North America? What happens in the halls of power? What happens, what's the chain of command? Like, what's the protocol? And so I was lucky enough to be able to have a conversation with this gentleman here, Noah Oppenheim, and he spun out this incredible scenario, and I said, wait, hold it, let's write a script about that, and let's make it. And it was very fast. From that conversation to finished script was very fast.
Noah, how much did you know before you started researching this? And how were you surprised? Were you more scared at the end?
I was definitely more scared. I knew some, but one of the many things that make Kathryn such an extraordinary filmmaker is her commitment to realism and authenticity and an almost journalistic approach to filmmaking. So from that initial conversation, we began building the story like you might actually report out a story for a newspaper or for a news outlet. And we just called the folks who had actually worked in these rooms, people who had served at the highest levels of the Pentagon, the White House, and said to them, hey, if this ever were to happen, how does it work? What do you do? What are the steps that get followed? And at the end of every conversation, we'd say, who else should we talk to? And so we kind of built it from the ground up. And yes, we were both terrified increasingly as we had those conversations, terrified by how short a period of time decision makers would have, terrified by the fact that the president has the sole authority to make the call and has probably never rehearsed for it before. So yeah, it definitely kept us up at night, I think.
How much debate was there among folks you talked to in the sort of defense complex? I know that there's some folks at the Pentagon who have tried to suggest since the film came out that, we'd be able to, that the film would end much earlier than it does, if you will, because there wouldn't be the prospect that these nuclear, missiles would be coming towards us, that we'd be able to actually hit it. How much of a debate was there as you were writing the script?
On that point, there was very little debate. I mean, the statistics are actually in the public domain in terms of the Pentagon's testing of our missile defense system. And the statistic in the movie, which is 61%, is fairly accurate in terms of the testing record over the last 25 years. They've gotten better. It's possible you could knock a missile out of the sky. It's just very hard, and the odds aren't terrific. But they're working to improve it. And I think the debate we wanted to open was, do we need to build better missile defense? Right. Or do we need to reduce the number of weapons in the world?
Is that the moral of
what's the best way to get us safer?
Is that the moral of the story? Golden Dome, like an upgraded Iron Dome that Israel has? Is that what the moral of the story is? I don't know.
I think we reduce the nuclear stockpile. That's the moral of the story.
Well, you only need one, though. I mean, there's thousands.
I know.
I mean, I don't. It only needs one out of. How many does Russia have? Russia has thousands. We have thousands.
Yeah,
we're not going to 0. Yeah, we're not going to 0.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of levers you can pull, right? I mean, the last remaining arms control treaty we have with Russia, New START, is set to expire at the end of the year. That negotiation or renegotiation is starting. So, reducing the stockpile is one lever. Iron Dome is a much easier problem. Those missiles are moving lower, slower, and Israel's a smaller area to defend. But it's worth discussing, and that's why I think Kathryn wanted to make the movie.
It used to be SALT tax actually meant something instead of state and local taxes. They stole that. They stole that.
So Kathryn, there's a movie theater in the White House. I think you can also watch films on Air Force One. If the president were to watch this film, what would you want him to take away from it?
Oh, well, again, reduction to denuclearize the world, but at the very least, a conversation about it. Do we need to be living in a house of dynamite? That's what the phrase refers to toward the end of the movie, where we've built this world that is ready to blow at any second. So it's a very combustible environment. And the movie ends really with a question: do you want to live in this world with that degree of combustibility? I mean, I know how I feel.
Well, I know, but we wouldn't unilaterally disarm, right? And it looks like we're ramping things up. We're not ramping things down. That's the discussion now. If we start testing, Putin just yesterday said, if you're going to start doing it, we're going to start doing it. But it's always been about that anachronistic idea of MAD, mutually assured destruction. And we couldn't do it unilaterally, right?
I know, but exactly. But, obviously you'd have to.
We have done it before, though, Joe. I mean, the thing to keep in mind is however many thousands of weapons we have now, we had a lot more during the Cold War. And we've seen the global powers get together and reduce those number of weapons. Right. We've seen countries give up their arsenal. I mean, South Africa, apartheid South Africa, gave up their nuclear arsenal. So it's not an impossible dream to try to, reverse the trend here.
But in this case, it's not even Russia or China, is from what I can tell. I haven't seen it yet. But if it's you don't know. Once again, you only need one. It doesn't even have to be.
So I have a creative question for Kathryn Noah, without trying to give away the ending. But I'm not going to give away the ending. I promise.
Does the world live?
Well, there's a question about that, and I want to know sort of how you were thinking about the ending of this film. If you can somehow describe how you thought about it without giving away the ending. I know this is like a needle to thread that's very hard.
That's a little bit difficult, but I think the way to talk about it is really that the movie ends with a question. And, questions are kind of messy and ambiguous, but it's really up to the audience to answer it. So I give it to you, Andrew, to tell me how it ends.
Well, I will tell you this. It forces you to think a lot. Yeah. And to feel something, which is one of the great signs of a great film.
It ended with Rosebud? That makes no...
No.
It did not end with...
Kathryn Noah, we want to thank you. It is a great film.
Thank you.
I encourage people to watch it.